In this film we're looking at specifically whitening teeth, making them look realistic and clean rather than actually with a yellowness. The first thing to do, of course, before we make any real adjustments to the teeth is actually do any retouching. In this case there's a little bit of lipstick just above the mouth there, as well as a little bit on the teeth, so I may as well actually go and correct that straight away. I would do this as well if the client was paying for retouching. I'd make sure that I'd kind of clean up any blemishes on the teeth as well. So I'm just picking up the spot healing brush tool, making it very, very small as far as the brush is concerned, just by using the left bracket. So I've just wiped that on the tooth, that's gone. Need to get in a little bit closer on the lip here, but you can see this is the wrong tool for it now. Yeah, so what I need to do is now pick up the clone stamp tool, which is basically just pressing the S, and then all I'm doing is basically going in and just adding the skin color back in, but using the line of the lipstick just to give us that control. So I'm at my basic finish level. The next thing I can do now, of course, is just duplicate the layer, Control J, or dragging it down onto the new layer, and then adjusting the likes of the levels. So why duplicate the layer? Well, I always like to actually work above itself, as it were, so I might want to actually do some other work at the same time, but as far as the general basic retouch is concerned, there's no real need for me to make additional work buying more and more layers and so on. So the first thing to do though is actually pick up now my levels command. So I'm just going to click on adjustment layer and I'm going to click on levels, and this point I'm going to pick on the white picker and just select the white of the teeth. Okay, so that's the bottom of the three pickers, and just selecting on what I want to be white on the actual teeth itself, and that is going to give me a good control across the whole point here. So if I kind of zoom out a minute and we start to look at what it just did, of course you can see it over brightens the face, over contrast and so on. But of course what I'm going to do is basically use the mask just to affect the teeth itself. So naturally when I pick up a adjustment layer, it automatically adds a white mask. I want this to be a black mask, so I'm just going to Control I to invert that mask, then B for brush, D for default. So I've got white on top, and now all I really need to do is just go in and start to actually paint the teeth back to the white that I want them to be. I much prefer to work freehand than making the selection, so there's a naturalness to the way that the teeth themselves kind of have that lovely bright white shine and things. Make sure though, of course, that you're working on the bottom teeth as well. It's often difficult to get in there, some are not very visible perhaps, but in the same way as you lightened the top teeth, in this case we also need to actually lighten the teeth in below as well. So if we just switch that on and off, you can see the difference, how the yellowness has gone within the image. So once more, step away, don't be afraid to go in there with a bigger brush to kind of have the little bit of a blend going across here. And one of the benefits of using an adjustment layer, of course, if you think it's too much, we can start to actually change the opacity up and down and things. So that's how we adjust the teeth to get a whiter teeth.